Hi there. A lot of people have been going on YouTube and kind of giving their story of how they were diagnosed with certain illnesses. Sorry. Um, my illness is I have familial hemiplegic migraines. I know it's a mouthful. Um, I was diagnosed at 4. Yeah, 4 years old. That's right. Uh, and I come from a long line of migraineurs. About 75% of my family on my father's side has migraines. Or I should say on my grandmother's side has migraines. Um, and if they don't have the same type of migraine that we have, they usually have another one, such as basilar migraines, which is also a really horrible migraine. Um, but it's not as bad as a hemiplegic migraine. Um, and I will kind of go over, tell you what happens to me, and then I will go over how I was diagnosed. So basically, when I start to get a migraine, I will see either flashes of lights, these little dot, floaty looking thingies, or these jagged lines. Lately, it's been the jagged line that goes all the way around my eye, and I get tunnel vision. Really bad. The lighting in here is horrible. Sorry. Um, but, and you also got to excuse me, I'm in a bit of a brain fog. I had just recently got over a very, very long migraine. Um, so, anyways, after I get the whole light thing, and everything starts to become brighter, or it seems brighter, everything seems louder. I start becoming annoyed by everything, basically. And sorry. Well, this is harder than what I thought it was going to be for me to actually do this. Probably should have waited a few days before I did this, but anyways, what it is, right? So after I get all that, sometimes I will go partially blind, sometimes completely blind, which really sucks. Not every migrainer does that. I guess I'm one of the lucky ones or whatever. But anyway, so then after that happens, I start getting what they call the pins and needles, which my body goes numb. Usually it's just one side. Sometimes I have had it happen to both of them, but it's usually just one side. And when I say one side, it's usually my entire side. All the way up to my face. Like, you could probably split my face down the middle. And I do sometimes get the droopy face and everything, and I'll get to where I have mental confusion as well. And then I will get to where I won't even be able to talk. It feels like my throat's closing up. Like, if I'm eating something, I have to spit it out because I feel like I'm choking on it. And usually that's my husband's first key that I'm getting a migraine is whenever when we're eating and I spit my food out, because I can't I can't do anything else, so I just spit it out. So anyways, after that happens, and my body goes numb, that usually lasts anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and then I go through the head, the pain, the head pain. It is unbearable. They say that most people, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that you're dying, and 1 being hardly anything at all, my migraines would hit all the way up to a 9.5. I promise you, I feel like I'm dying. I have actually prayed to die before. That's how bad it hurts. And that's not a lie, that's not exaggeration. That's what I have done. And I'm not saying that I am a suicidal person, because I'm not. But it does hurt. It hurts bad. And that's also why it frustrates me when, like, for instance, if I was at work and I told somebody I'm getting a migraine, because I could always tell when I'm about to get a migraine. So they say, I'm getting a migraine, and then they turn around and they're like, oh, well, go take some Tylenol. And I'm like, Tylenol? Sweetie, that's not even going to do it. It's like, okay, one time, I was at a friend's house, and I didn't have any of my medication with me, which was dumb on my part, and my head was pounding so bad, I couldn't get it to stop, and I shouldn't have done it. It was wrong, and I don't condone doing this, but I took 3 hydrocodone 10s, and it didn't even touch it. It didn't even knock the edge off of it. That was actually when I first understood why doctors don't prescribe hydrocodone for migraines anymore, or Norco, or Percocet, or any of that stuff. The only thing that I've ever had that actually did help with it was morphine, and that was in a hospital setting. It wasn't when I was at home. I was actually in a hospital, and they ended up giving me morphine because I couldn't get it to stop. But that's another story. So anyways, back to when I was first diagnosed. When I was 4 years old, my mother had, we were at our house, and in California. My dad was away at work, and at the time, we didn't have phones like we do now. Like, now everybody has a phone. Everybody has a cell phone. Back then, this is like back in 1990, I believe. Or, yeah, about 1990, I guess. No, sorry, it wasn't 1990, let's see. Oh, I guess it was about 1990. Anyways, I'm sorry, my brain is like so... Anyways, my dad was away at work, and my mother couldn't get a hold of him, and I had walked into the living room and stood there, looked at her, and then fell down and couldn't move. And my mom freaked out. She didn't know what to do. She got a hold of my cousin. My cousin came over there, picked me and her up, took us to the hospital. The hospital, they didn't really know what to do. They were kind of freaking out because they thought that this 4-year-old had a stroke. And they had never seen anything like it in that hospital, or he said even in his career, he had never seen a child that young have a stroke. And so they were trying to figure out what to do. And they were trying to get a hold of my dad and everything. My dad, they finally got a hold of him. He was on his way back. And at the same time, they had actually called in a specialist from another state to fly in to the pediatric unit to look in on me, because they didn't know what to do. They didn't want to give me something and then it ended up hurting me. So after my dad got there, he had told the original doctor, he said, she could be having a migraine. We have migraines. I have migraines in my family, And the doctor said, no, there's no way this is a headache. And my dad goes, no, not a headache, a migraine. And he said, I know, but there's no way there's no way. And he said, I've never seen a migraine affect someone like this. And my dad said, well, yeah, but it is a migraine. And anyways, when the specialist finally arrived, him and a team of doctors, a team of neurologists came in there and was looking over me and everything. Did a bunch of, they did a CAT scan, an MRI on me. They did a bunch of blood work. I mean, they went all out trying to figure out what the heck was wrong with me. And my dad, he had heard my dad talk to my mom about it being a migraine. And so he went over there and he talked to my dad, and he said, I've heard of these, but I've never seen one before. And he said, yeah, my entire family has them. And he explained to him what had happened and everything, and how it affects our body and stuff, and how we react and all that. Excuse me. And the doctor he consulted with the other doctors, and he said, I think she may be having a migraine. And he said, well, how do you know for sure? And he said, well, because she's starting to move. And people with a stroke, they don't get up and move that quick. So, and he said, the other doctor said, well, I'd hate to release her and then it end up being something major, And the doctor said, well, I'm almost positive that this is a migraine. And they ended up keeping me there overnight for observation. And I, like, very next day I got up, I was fine, I was walking around, I was eating, I was playing, I was, acting like a normal 4-year-old. And the doctor was just amazed. He was like, how in the world? And my dad told him, said, look, I've had these all my life. My mom had them all her life. Apparently my daughter's going to have them now. And he said, there's not anything really that we can do about them because there's nobody willing to help. Yeah, we have all these neurologists and all that, but none of them want to. They wanted to put migraine all in a single class, and not realize that there are different treatments for different types, and that some are worse than others, and that some, like mine, are debilitating. They won't even like. It was very hard for me to hold down a job. And even now, now, I'm actually in the Army Reserves, and I am very afraid that they're going to end up giving me a medical discharge because of it, which I couldn't blame them if they did, but, it's a really rough road. There's a lot of things that I wanted to do that I couldn't do. Like, for instance, you hear all these females talk about how glorious their pregnancies are and everything else. All 4 of mine, I had 4 children. All 4 of them were a pure hell. I had a migraine back to back. Every single one of them. That was actually my first clue that I was even pregnant, was I would start having migraines like constantly. And they always talk about these girls these females who, their migraines go away when they're pregnant. That never happened to me. I would have liked for it to, but it didn't. I've also been told that as they get older, their migraines start to disappear. No, mine got worse. As I have gotten older, mine has gotten worse. I went from having them sporadically to like maybe once, twice a year, to now, last year, I spent 4 months in a migraine. I'm not even kidding. And the doctors couldn't figure out how to get it, like how to break it. Every time they think they break it, it'd come right back the very next day. This last time, I spent 17 days in a migraine. That's ridiculous. That's too much. My kids are growing up without me. Because of this, and there's nothing I can do. There's nothing, And in fact, I joke around with them all the time and tell them that they should become a neurologist when they get older and find a cure, because that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Right? But anyway, so after my 4-year-old incident, I didn't have another one until I was 7. That's how long the gap was between them. 3 years. And it was on my 7th birthday. And I'll never forget it because I walked into the living room. I didn't walk. Actually, I dragged myself into the living room. And I told my dad that my arm was broke. And he goes, no, your arm's not broken. It's broke. I can't feel it. And he goes, what do you mean? And he reached down and picked me up. And I just went completely limp. And then I told him, I said, my face, I can't feel my face. And he goes, oh, you're having a migraine. And then that's when he explained it all to me. And I would hope that nobody would have to go through a lifetime of migraines like I have. They're horrible. They're not fun, and they're also hereditary. So, and 2 of my kids have them.